revoking temporary protective status for 500,000 Venezuelans wasn't enough. As if deporting good, hardworking immigrants wasn't enough.
Maybe R.F. Kennedy Jr. can fix that.
But
This is a bad idea, this is a bad idea, this is a bad idea.
The ladies of The View are in full meltdown mode over Trump's latest win, and in their rage, they just exposed how fake and hypocritical they really are. This time, it's about Trump's tariffs, and they're absolutely losing it, foaming at the mouth, twisting reality into yet another America is evil rant, because let's be real, these women live for tearing down their own country. But here's where it gets juicy. Sunny Hostin, in a desperate attempt to bash Trump, accidentally ended up backing RFK Jr. instead, and the audience wasn't having it. The same crowd that claps like mindless robots for every anti-Trump jab suddenly turned on her for stepping out of line, booing her live on TV. And let's talk about Ana Navarro, who somehow made Trump's Mexico policy all about herself. She was personally offended that Trump dared to threaten tariffs, but then took it to an even more laughable level, whining that it could raise the price of her precious tequila. That's right. To her, Trump's policy is a world-ending crisis because her margaritas might cost more. You can't make this stuff up.
the people who vote with us in the international organizations, these are the people who send soldiers to go to war with us when we are fighting, in the Middle East, when we're fighting any sort of war. Canada sends its soldiers. These are the people that have been by us time and time again, that send their pilots and their planes to help us put out our fires, literally and figuratively. These are our friends, and we are treating them like trash. We are bullying them. And it's as if, I look at this thing in Mexico and I'm thinking, okay, as if deporting good, hardworking immigrants wasn't enough. As if emboldening the racial profiling and bigotry against Latinos wasn't enough. As if revoking temporary protective status for 500,000 Venezuelans wasn't enough. As if bullying Panama wasn't enough. Now he's going to tax our tequila and avocados?
Yeah.
Let's cut through the nonsense. The left's obsession with letting Canada and Mexico bleed America dry, just because we're allies, is pure insanity. Look around. The migrant crisis is spiraling out of control. Mexico is letting waves of illegal immigrants flood into the US while cartels pump deadly fentanyl into American cities. And what do we get in return? A $100 billion trade deficit, yet somehow, we're the villains for saying, hey, maybe secure your borders if you want to keep getting rich off us. It's the same democratic hypocrisy we've seen for years. They claim to care about immigrants, but in reality, their policies push them into modern-day slavery. They openly support illegal workers toiling under brutal conditions for pennies, while shrugging and saying, but who will pick our vegetables? Sound familiar? Because that's almost word for word what Democrats were saying in the 1850s about slavery. They refuse to see the connection. They pat themselves on the back for their compassion while fueling human trafficking, exploiting desperate workers, and driving wages into the ground, and then they call us the bad guys.
I'll just say, Mexico, Canada, and China together accounted for more than 40% of total U.S. imports last year. But more importantly, Canada and Mexico are the top buyers of U.S. exports in more than 72% of all export categories. 72%. We send our stuff over there. So now if there are these tariffs, that's going to cause problems, billions of dollars of problems. And if the tariffs, if they are in turn return the tariffs, let's say you have a coffee store and you're going to sell a cup of coffee and your coffee is $5. We know how expensive coffee is, right? Yeah. So you sell coffee for $5. Now the coffee beans coming in from Mexico are now $5 more. You think if I own that shop, I'm going to eat that $5? No. Your cup of coffee just costs $10. Well, and that's the deal.
Again, Sunny Hostin just dropped a take so dumb it should be studied as proof that college is a scam. This college-educated lawyer actually claimed that a 25% tariff on a $5 coffee would make it $10. Let that sink in. This is what passes for educated now. Colleges hand out degrees like participation trophies, convincing people they're geniuses while they can't even grasp basic math. And the worst part? They think they're better than the rest of us. The left brags that Kamala Harris won the educated vote. Oh, you mean the Sunny Hostin IQ vote? Yeah, not the flex they think it is. People ask, why even watch The View? Because millions take them seriously. They push propaganda under the guise of news, brainwashing their audience while pretending to be credible, and just when you think it can't get dumber, Whoopi Goldberg steps in to explain why we're the bad guys for expecting our neighbors to be, better neighbors. Watch this.
Canadian citizens showed how they felt about these tariffs at NBA and NHL games over the weekend. Take a look. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Never.
I'm sorry. And I have to say, even the conservative media is warning about the price Americans are going to pay for this. So, I mean, everybody's saying this is a bad idea, this is a bad idea, this is a bad idea.
This right here is everything wrong with the virtue signaling left. They are desperate for the world to see them as kind, compassionate, and morally superior. Even if it means getting steamrolled, according to Whoopi Goldberg, we shouldn't dare ask Canada and Mexico to secure their borders or fix trade imbalances because, gasp, it might hurt someone's feelings, and if that means salty Canadians booing our national anthem? Oh no. How will we ever survive? But here's the kicker. The NHL and NBA are majority American leagues. If they hate us so much for asking for fair deals, why don't they leave? Why don't they start their own hockey and basketball leagues? Oh right. They love the money America brings in. Funny how that works. It was all good when we were getting ripped off. Let's be real. If someone only sticks around because you bankroll their fun, and then turns on you the second you ask for fairness, they were never your friend to begin with. And now, here comes Alyssa weighing in on Trump cutting foreign aid. Usually, she's got a point. But this time, she's dead wrong.
And what makes America the most powerful nation on earth is that we have friends and allies. And it's because we engage in international trade, we don't bully our friends, we show up and give international aid. And if we stop doing that, which is what I feel like Trump is leaning into, I'm not saying that that's fully what he's doing yet, we're ceding our role of global superpower to China because they will step in, they will show up, and they will be friends to the people that we're giving not a nice signal to in Canada and elsewhere.
And here it is. Peak stupidity. Whoopi Goldberg, in all her infinite wisdom, claims that other countries reject our exports because our food is loaded with crazy pesticides. But wait. It gets even better. Sonny Hostin, trying to sound smart, accidentally endorses RFK Jr. and the audience? They turn on her instantly. The same crowd that claps like trained seals for every anti-Trump jab suddenly boos her for stepping out of line. This is the moment everything completely falls apart. Watch this train wreck unfold.
To point out that there is a reason people don't really take a lot of our things that we export, because the quality of what we put out has not always been the best. When we look at what's in our foods, other countries won't accept food from us if it's chock full of the stuff that
Preservatives and shelf
we allow to go through. So you can talk about making American and building American, but that also requires that we make big changes as to how we do things.
Maybe R. Kenny Jr. can fix that.
But there's
Boom. A Freudian slip for the ages. Sonny Hostin just accidentally endorsed RFK Jr., and the crowd malfunctioned on live TV. She tried to mock him but ended up saying, yeah, that's why we need RFK. Our food is garbage, and no country wants it. Silence. Confusion. Then boos. For a brief moment, you could see the terror on her face. She realized she had just broken the #1 rule of daytime TV, never praise RFK, never criticize the establishment, and the rest of the panel? Total meltdown. Whoopi shifts uncomfortably. Joy Behar looks like she swallowed a lemon. Ana Navarro desperately scans the teleprompter for a way out. Spoiler. There isn't one. The audience glitches, brains buffering. Wait, do we agree with that? But instead of thinking, they defaulted to what they do best. Mindless outrage. Sonny scrambled to backtrack, but too late. The internet had already clipped it, memed it, and spread it like wildfire, and that's the thing. The hosts of The View don't debate. They read from a script. Step out of line, and the machine breaks down, and that is why RFK Jr. scares them to death.
Trump got rolled by both of these countries, and no one, least of all Trump, seems to have realized it. Both the leaders of Mexico and Canada have agreed to do what they have already been doing. It's just that Trump didn't seem to know about it.
Both Mexico and Canada have reached agreements today with Donald Trump to do what we want them to do, which is to put people and technology and resources at the border to stop the flow of people and drugs, illegal immigration, stem the tide. That is the whole point of this exercise, and that is apparently what is happening. And yes, there have been some troops there in Mexico. This is an agreement to do permanent deployment. And yes, some of this stuff in Canada was already announced, but now they were dragging their feet. Now their feet are held to the fire. They've got 30 days to really implement, and they can't pussyfoot around anymore. So the point of this exercise today, to me, had less to do with trade and more to do with saying to our neighbors, you need to be better neighbors.
So, were those soldiers actually securing the border, or did they just feed Biden a bedtime story and watch him back off? And Canada? Oh, they promised to spend money. But when? Where? They've said it before and never did a thing, then Trump steps in. No more games, no more fake promises. Suddenly, Mexico scrambles. Canada panics. And things start actually happening, but the media? They can't handle it. Admitting Trump was right would shatter their entire world. Imagine this, your dad tells you to clean your room. You ignore him. Then he storms in, takes your phone, your games, your TV, hands you a candle and a Bible. That's exactly what Trump just did to these weak freeloading nations. No more handouts. No more talk. Results now, and guess what? Suddenly, there's a fentanyl czar, 24/7 border monitoring, an extra $200 million, and a joint U.S. task force. Funny how that works. Meanwhile, Democrats still live in a fantasy world where leaders just hold hands and sing unity songs to solve problems. Wronged IT takes power moves. And Trump just proved it.